This time, see, I can't go back to him because I already burned it with him.
He's got a bad attitude too.
So this time he walked up, no resume, and he said instead, I understand that your CEO is wanting to improve the quality of food produced at this plant. Is that correct?
That's correct.
I've helped improve the food quality in Africa, South America, North America, Asia, and Europe. For example, at one company, we identified 26 impurities in our cheese. It took us 3 months, but we eliminated all of those impurities. And the quality of cheese improved so well that sales increased by 20%. Now, is that what your CEO is doing?
That's true. I'm trying to interfere here.
Yeah, exactly. And all I want to do is talk about how I can help him achieve his goal. What's the difference? Why am I even getting a thought this time?
It's about me and what I want.
In fact, if the CEO found out that I got away, what might happen?
I might get one.
You see, when your attitude is about how can I help, and it's focusing on them, and you stop saying the stupid stuff that gets you sent straight to the bottom of the pile. It's like, and I'm going to use the term job seeker, and I don't mean it as a person, it's an identity. Whether internally or looking externally. This job seeker mentality is just squirrely. And they make it about them, and they think the world works the way it doesn't. And so they say stupid things. They walk into, how many of you would like for your next job to be at, let's say, 100,000 a year? Okay, 150,000? Do we get more at 150,000? How many would like to stay there for 3 to 5 years? Hey, then here's what I want to point out. You're talking to them about a $500,000 to a $750,000 deal. And job seekers will walk into that meeting with something they printed off Monster or LDS Jobs. And that's all the research and preparation they did for a $500,000 deal. And do you want to hire that person? No. So you've got to stop saying stupid stuff, and you do that by getting that identity that I am a master in public administration. There are things I can do and that I love to do, and I am trying to find people who need that to achieve their goals. And then you just say the right thing to prove you're the solution they're looking for. Does that help? Any questions on these two? Yes.
So I just want to make a little obvious bridge here. I know that many of you already made it. We read the book Give and Take by Adam Grant, which is a lot of this idea of how can I help attitude, and it applies to job seeking, job improvement as well. Not just once you get the job, but also getting the job. So I just want to beat the obvious there. That's what you just percent.
And you're going to find every major book is now talking this kind of talk. Okay, next, how to leverage your MPA. These are real simple ones. First of all, your LinkedIn profile. To follow your name on the same line as your name in the big type immediately. MPA. You are going to link your name with MPA immediately, so that in the profile right at the top it says Lawrence D. Stevenson or Larry Stevenson, MPA. Your name is?
Clark Pugh.
So yours is going to say what on LinkedIn?
Clark Pugh, MPA.
Yours?
Joseph Langston, MPA.
Yours?
Ian Beck, MBA.
Excellent. Second, you are going to put it on your business cards. How many of you still have business cards and use business cards? Raise your hand. Order a new set. They're cheap. They're easy to replace. And what are you going to add after your name? MPA. Why? Because you are a master of public administration, not because you have received a master's degree. It is a designation just like a doctor is an MD and a PhD. Third, on your resume, on the name of your line, you are going to add MPA right away so that they can see MPA and they immediately begin to associate their mind your name with Master in Public Administration. Any questions on this part? This is easy. Next, organizations want an employee. First, organizations want someone who can do the job. That's crucial. How many of you are fans of The Office? Raise your hand if, I've got a new one, but I think this group isn't quite ready to discuss, oh shoot, I just lost the name of it. Raising Hope. Or The Store. So we'll go with The Office. You remember when Michael left? Okay, we're going to do a quick vote. I want you to vote on who you thought should replace Michael. Okay? How many of you voted for the guy who actually replaced him, and I just lost his name?
Robert California.
Huh?
Robert California right there.
No, not Robert California, the one who was internal that went to...
Oh, not Dwight.
Okay, how many vote for Dwight? How many vote for Dwight? We got 1, 2 for Dwight.
What was the name?
How many would vote for Jim? Raise your hand. Some of you would vote for Jim. How many would vote for Pam?
Wow. How many of you didn't watch The Office?
How many didn't watch The Office? That explains. How many of you would vote for Creed? Okay, what's wrong with Creed?
Where to start?
A, he was the really creepy member of the team. We said a lot because there were a lot of creeps on that team, like Dwight's brothers, like cousins, his cousins. But yeah, Creed. And what's funny is I use that because we have a lot of people workplace who they're Creed. They're looking for something to do other than the work all the time, aren't they? And they're looking, I mean, you remember the last show when it turned out Creed had been living in the office for 8 years? Okay, so first, companies want someone who can do the job. I had a friend who once, this is back in the 70s, he was working for McDonnell Douglas. And he was very high. He was one of the senior vice presidents. He said, they came to me and they said, I had to let go 6,000 people. He said, I went through 3 criteria. First, I went to everyone who was always late or took long lunches, and I let them go. Second, I went to every person who could not do the job that they told us they could do when they first got hired. And third, I went to everyone who just wanted to do as little as possible. And I wound up laying off 8,000 people and increasing productivity by 26%. They want people who can do the job. Next, they want people who can fit into the organization. Have any of you ever worked in an organization where someone did not fit? Raise your hand if you've done that. How would you describe that experience?
Painful.
Painful? What else? Awkward? Short-lived?
Or language.
Languishing. Think about this. If I hire someone who does not fit in, if I make a bad decision on hiring, what can I lose? I can lose my dignity. I can lose what?
Other employees.
Other employees. By the way, who are the first employees that will leave? My best employees will leave, right? So now I'm working with my worst employees. And what else am I losing?
Culture.
The culture has changed. What else do I lose? Momentum. I lose productivity. And if I'm losing productivity and momentum, what else am I losing?
Funds.
Money. And how's my reputation inside the company? What's happened to my ability to get promoted? You see, job seekers don't get that. They walk into an interview. First of all, they call it an interview. It's a meeting. And they make it so much about them and so much about what they're worried about. I want to, real quick, I'm going to just point to you real quick, share with me the worst thing in your mind, your biggest nightmare that could happen in an interview, okay? You, please. Just recognition. First thing that scares you about an interview. Worst thing that could happen. Missing the interview. You don't even show up. You.
Not being able to answer a question.
Not being able to answer a question. Not being able to answer.
I wet my pants.
I like you. They're healthy. We got this other going. Yours.
Just not knowing what to say.
Not knowing what to say.
Looking right in red.
Yours.
Not knowing anything about the company.
Not knowing anything about the company. Excellent. One last one over here. You, please.
I start to cry.
You start to cry. Once again, you're all pretty healthy except you and I. I used to have 3 fears. I now have 4. Because they actually happen. My first fear is that my zipper is down. Just when I came in, I stood behind that podium because I checked my zipper. Because it's one of my big fears. My second fear is that as I go to shake hands with them, I trip and I fall on top of them and knock them to the floor. My third fear wasn't a fear until it happened. I was in the Minister of Education for the state of São Paulo, Brazil. I am there to negotiate a 20% discount for every Latter-day Saint who attends a public school in Brazil. No pressure. As I go to sit down, my hips push the arms of the chair out. And unfortunately, the arms of the chair is what connected all the other pieces of the chair. And so as the arms pulled out, the pins that were holding the legs, the back, the seat, everything collapsed. Those of you who have been to Brazil know, was it a carpeted floor? Oh no, it's a tile floor. So I'm on top of 15 pieces of wood trying to get up and they keep moving. The minister had to get up and walk around his desk and lift me off the floor. So that's now one of my fears. I checked the arm. Well, hello. I didn't know this. This is my cousin. So, but don't blame him. He had nothing to do with me being here. My fourth fear also didn't happen until I was the president of the BYU Management Society Utah Valley chapter. We were at a luncheon board meeting. As I went to lift up my cup, the straw snagged on the centerpiece, dumping, a big cup of ice cold water down my lap, down my leg, and into my socks. So that for the entire rest of the meeting, every time I moved anything, I squeaked. Okay, so that's my fear. So here's our thought. In one horribly terrific nightmare of an interview, all of that happens. Our zipper is down, our blouse is wide open, we fall over the guy, we break their chair, we spill water all over their desk, we totally freeze on what we're going to say, we don't know anything about the company, nothing comes out, and well, we spilled on it, so they didn't notice. All of that happens in one interview. Here's what I want to point out. What can you lose? What?
Nothing at that point.
Nothing. Can you lose the job? You don't have it. Can you lose your reputation?
Yes.
No. They don't know you from Adam. And they aren't going to remember except this great story they will tell forever and ever. Right?
Not necessarily. You don't necessarily always apply for jobs where you don't know anyone. As a matter of fact, you have a better chance of getting a job at a place where you do know somebody, so that story could possibly travel.
It could travel. Good point. Excellent point.
Or it doesn't travel, it reflects on the person who's your referral.
Which then takes us back to what he can lose, not what I can lose. See, here's the thing. Job seekers are so worried about it, and the reality is they can't lose anything except time. He pointed out if the person making the hiring decision hires the wrong person, what do they lose? And so when you go into those meetings, whether it's for a promotion or it's for a new job, your focus cannot be on you. That how can I help attitude changes the focus so that your focus is on making them feel wonderful. Because my job is to help you achieve what you want. And that's all I'm focused on. And if I can do that, wonderful. And if not, I understand. Are we okay with that? Third thing that they want to know, even in nonprofits and government, is your return on investment. Now, that investment in our world is a little different, isn't it? Is that investment always in dollars? Profits? No, but what is the investment it may be for us?
Increased public trust.
Increased public trust. What else?
So I worked for insurance and there's other exchanges of value like members' time. I don't even talk about their time.
Members' time. The message getting out to members and non-members alike, right? So this is what they're looking at when they look at you, and this is why being a master in public administration allows you to be able to communicate you can do the job. You are the solution they need, and you're going to fit into their team and their organization, and you're going to be a good return on investment. When you're on the job, how to earn the biggest raises and the best promotions, you are going to follow because they still want the same thing. And so what I suggest is you start tracking what they want to measure because they don't do a good job on it. I had a guy who was working for Rand Corporation, and he got into a layoff, and they were putting him through an outplacement, and they said, you can go to this outplacement and while you're still working for us. And he came and he took our workshop, and we were teaching him about what you call PAR statements. And they still use PAR statements. Is that what they taught you?
Yeah.
So we were teaching him about PAR statements. He was writing the PAR statements. It was before lunch. And all of a sudden, he threw his pencil down. And he said, they are stupid for letting me go. Look what I have done for this company. And someone said, yes, but did you tell them? And he said, no, it's not my job to tell them. It's their job to notice. Is that a valid concept? I felt bad because he didn't come back for lunch. I thought we'd offended him. Came back the next morning, and he said, I went to lunch and I thought about what you had said. It was my job to let them know. So yesterday afternoon, I went back to my boss. And I said, I think you're making a mistake in letting me go. Let me tell you what I have done for the Rand Corporation. And he shared his PAR statements that he had never shared before. And his boss asked him some questions and dug deep into them. And then said, hold on a second, I'll be right back. He came back 20 minutes later and he said, you are no longer on the layoff list. We had no idea what you had done for us. So my suggestion is find out what it is that they expect of you. And I suggest 4 areas: productivity, efficiency, quality, and effectiveness. If you want, think PEEQ: productivity, effectiveness, efficiency, and quality. And start making your own graph and graph how you are doing on those things. How you're doing on the productivity. How many loans you need to process. How many page views, I don't know. How many applications or whatever the number is productivity. How long it's taken. And start keeping your own graph so that you're aware of where you are and should be. You have a comment? Oh. I think that's worse than a comment when they're starting to itch. Next, build your network. Our class that graduated over 7 years ago have kept in touch, and we have helped one another all along the way. build your network both right here, build your network at BYU, build your network in the church office building. And by the way, I retired in February, and I need to say one thing about building your network. Back it up to your own backup. Because on the day I retired, I had 2,778 people in my personal network. When they turned off my LDSchurch.org account, I had 20. I even lost my own children's contacts. So back it up so you have it. Also, I strongly suggest get involved with your BYU Management Society chapter. How many of you are in the Utah Valley chapter? Raise your hand if you're in Utah Valley. Okay, join the chapter. How many of you are in the Salt Lake area, Davis area? Raise your hand. They have an excellent chapter here. How many are in the Idaho area? Anyone commuting down from Idaho? Join your BYU Management chapter, get involved with it, and that'll help you build your network. And that network can help you improve what you are doing. It can help you learn about the organization and how to fit in. It can help you learn the written and the unwritten rules. Okay? And finally, communicate your return on investment by giving your boss a monthly PAR statement. How many of you are getting an educational reimbursement to take this program, to get your degree? How many of you are getting it? Okay, then your PAR statements will include something like this. Using the decision-making model I learned in my MPA program, I was able to accelerate the amount of time it took for us to arrive at this decision as our team and come to a better decision based on the objectives designed. And we are now achieving 89% of the objectives designed within 1 month. Does that make sense? Does that meet with your expectations? You end your PAR statement with a question. And you're going to deliver these once a month, and 1 month you may deliver them by mail, email. 1 month you may verbally give it to them. And 1 month you may give it to them in a card. And then you'll rotate it around. But each month you will communicate to your manager what you have done that either they wanted you to do or was a problem that you saw, and what you did to fix that or improve it, and what the result. Any questions on that? And then at the end of the year, when you're doing your performance appraisal, in the section that talks about what you did, you're going to copy and paste all of those PAR statements into the proof of what you did, because now will they remember them? Does that make sense? Any questions on this? There should be. This is a concept most people struggle with. They feel it's kissing up to share what they have done. No problems? Yes.
Question, does this ever make it to your resume? You ever put this kind of thing in your resume?
Yes.
Right. Walk us
You're
through.
going to add this, and can I do that in just a minute? You are going to add all of those statements to what I have as a master resume concept. You'll have pages in your master resume that are pages 2, 3, 4, 5, where you insert all of these PAR statements. And then when you're ready to actually use the resume, you copy and paste or cut and paste the most important and pertinent ones from pages 2 through 5 into the body of the resume, and then delete pages 2 through 5. Make sure you've named it again with a new name first. Yes.
Is it important to pare down when you're submitting, tailoring for the job that you're going for next?
That's why you have them all on pages 2 through 5. You're only picking the ones to move to the first page now that are exactly what they want to see. Yes, and you're only moving the results portion up. You may include a word that's an action verb to start it, but you're not moving the whole PAR statement. You're moving just the results portion. So for example, one guy I know, his was as the CFO, and was for a nonprofit organization, though it was taxed. He said, as the CFO for such and such corporation, I worked for 9 months with the Public Tax Commission on what I thought they were overtaxing us. As a result, they reduced our property tax by $500,000 and made it retroactive to 6 years. Is that someone you'd like to hire in your organization? Is that a good return on investment? So you make them short and you only pull up the ones that you need. Good question. Does everyone understand that? So you're constantly adding them to your resume. Each month you put it into your resume master document, but you're only pulling it up when it's applicable.
Can we go to,
Yes.
can we go to the PAR statement again? I
PAR, okay, what does PAR statement stand for? That way, do they still teach that in the very first semester? Okay, P stands for what? Problem. A stands for action, R stands for, so the problem was overtaxation. Action was work with the tax commission. The result was $500,000 decrease.
It's all coming back to me.
Yeah, hey, it's 3 years, let's face it. Any other questions on that? If you want, send me an email. My email's at the bottom here, and I will send you a white paper on how to set up that master application document so that it takes literally about 10 minutes to customize a resume. Okay, 4 rules of resumes. First rule, show it to 10 people. You will get 18 different opinions on how to fix it. Resumes are, everyone loves to edit resumes, and they have no rhyme or reason on it. Second rule is you have to remember, when the decision maker is going through the resume, what is their number one desire? How many of you hire people? Raise your hand if you're in hiring positions. When you get a stack of resumes, what is your number one goal?
Easiest way to whittle it down.
Whittle it down. Did you hear that? Does that match yours? When I'm looking at it as a good reason to throw it away. So remember, rule number 2, they're looking for a reason to throw it away. Third rule of resumes is they're going to spend about 2 minutes on it. If that. I was being generous, right? In the first 20 seconds, what are they looking for?
Experience.
They're looking for what they want to see. The qualification, what you can do for me, whatever you want, it's what I want. And if I don't see what I want in 20 seconds, what am I going to do? Toss it. What am I going to spend the next 40 seconds doing? Looking for any other good reason to throw it away. Literally. Those of you who hire, does that sound familiar? Job seekers don't get that. They keep thinking, I mean, I won't go into it. The fourth rule, and this is because of applicant tracking systems, is you have to translate what you have done into their words. So you have to go through their job description. You have to go through the interviews you have done. And by the way, remember, are you going to walk into a meeting to negotiate a $500,000 deal off one sheet of paper you got from Monster Board? Does anyone see that as a sane move? If you had the CEO contact you and tell you that they wanted you to do a 30-minute presentation to the board, and they gave you 4 lines in an email, what would you do to prepare for that presentation?
I'd do as much background as I could. Probably respond to whoever sent me the email and ask if I can ask more questions. If not them, who could I ask them to?
Exactly.
Maybe get the contact numbers of the board. I could contact them beforehand and see if they have any insight into what they want.
Exactly. And does that make sense? How many of you that made total sense? So why, when we're thinking like job seekers, do we think it doesn't make sense? It's a $500,000 deal. Are you going to do it on one piece of paper? Especially, we all know how we feel about human resources, right? Does human resources ever let the manager actually publish what they want to publish? No, because what's the role of human resource? Keep it legal and avoid suits. So they sanitize it, don't they? Any questions on that? So you translate it. Now, does everyone understand what an applicant tracking system is? It is the computer system that when you are filling out an application, when you are uploading a resume, that scans the resume. And what they do is they go through the job description and they assign certain phrases a weighting on words. And the resume is then scanned and the application is scanned, and an algorithm gives a score to that application based on what they see compared to what they wanted. So in today's world, you do have to translate it into the words that they use. Yes.
So if you're applying through USA Jobs, it seems to me that it's rare that the hiring authority actually ever sees your actual resume. Because it doesn't, I mean, it goes through a computer, they never see it. Your resume is.
Unless you get that high score, or what's the other exception?
If they ask.
If they go to human resource and they say, John James is going to be applying for this job, no matter what the score is, I want him on the pool. And how do you get that? You do what he said. If you're calling them and you're doing the due diligence beforehand, are you building the contacts so that they're impressed? Does that help? Go ahead with your question.
But so would you put a limit on the amount that you put in there?
Yes. Yes, and I keep it very short, but I make sure that it's condensed using their words. So what you do is you go through the job or the interview notes that you've taken when you did your due diligence, and you look at their words, and then you scan yours and you find and replace so that you now have their words describing what you're doing. Okay, we're going to do a quick exercise. It's going to take, since we know it's only 2 minutes, all of you who have a resume here tonight, pull it out, please. Also pull out a pen, please. Some of you who are relying on it being an electronic resume may have a little bit of trouble with this exercise, but you can still do it. Okay, here's what I'd like you to do. I'd like you to pass your resume to the first person to the right of you. This is, well, wait, no, we're in Salt Lake County. Pass it to the left.
Do it within your group, though. The person within your group. Does that make sense?
Okay, just pass it around. 1 minute to go through it and circle. Do you see all the things you wanted to see? Circle if you see what you wanted to see. And cross out anything that would have made you want to throw it away. This group, you're all looking around confused. Who's got this ready? Who are you passing? Who else is in this group?
We're trying to figure out.
Okay, sorry. So pass the computer. It's electronic, and just mark on the screen.
Circle what we like, cross out.
Circle if you what you like, and cross out what would cause you to throw it away. You have 15 seconds. Hey, once again, this is reality. How long are they going to take? Okay, pass it again to another person in your group. Pass it again, and once again, same thing. Circle what you like, cross out what you don't.
This looks like
No, they're enormous. Yeah, very much. Thanks for helping. I think it looks wonderful for a USA Jobs version. Having applied for the, having.
Okay, 10 seconds on the second review.
Applying for those.
Are you in?
Pass it to one more
I don't
person
know.
in
I
your
was
group.
just trying to figure out which group I'm in. I think I'm maybe over there.
We'll give it to him and have him. Just go ahead and give it to Rob.
Thank you. Back here.
Rob,
Would you sign your
That's mine. No, that's
Oh, so it
not.
was in the same organization. I thought you just applied, okay.
No.
Oh, that's cool. That's still very easy. Well, good.
Too long, James.
USA Jobs all over. It'll be 5 pages long.
James may have a disadvantage. You're from where, James? Where are you from?
Everything.
That's why. Because you use curriculum details, which
I know,
are
I
much
just.
longer than the
Well,
resume.
that was like.
Okay, Hicks, time's up. Would you please return the resume to the original owner, or the laptop to the original owner?
I don't know how to work this Mac, so I can't give any comments on it. That's okay. I'm sure it's wonderful. I don't mind that, So, I just did my basic. I just did mine with skills. Maybe you help me. Out of curiosity.
Sorry.
In conclusion, you have now had 3 reviews of your resume. And you probably got 6 comments, because remember, for every 10 people you asked, you would get 18. The rule on resumes is don't pull it out until you absolutely have it. You have to have a resume. But the moment you pull a resume out, you cease to be a master of public administration, and you become a job seeker. You have to have it. But you don't pull it out first thing. You pull it out maybe as the thing that you leave. You could fill out business cards, make business cards, Master of Public Administration. And on the back, put 3 result statements from your parcel. Resumes aren't going to get you jobs, but they can cause you to not get them. The best thing is to get in front of the decision maker before they even know they need you. And prove to them you can help them achieve their goals, solve their challenges, and get what they want done. In closing, I would like to share some doctrine that you will have to internalize, whether you are looking for a new job or whether you are looking for more satisfaction on your current job or a new assignment in your current organization. And they come from the Lord Jesus Christ. He said this, first, in Doctrine and Covenants, section 46, that we should remember the gifts of the Spirit. For to every person is given a gift. And nobody has all the gifts. And that was done so that the whole would profit by it. Sometimes when you're in this situation, you don't think you have anything to offer. And that's listening to the wrong guy. Second, Doctrine and Covenants, section 33, he said, if ye are prepared, ye shall not fear. So you practice and you prepare what you're going to say. You prepare the questions you're going to ask to find out what their needs and what their wants and what their challenges are. You're going to prepare to say your par statements, to write them, to use them, And if you are prepared, you shall not fear. And the next one, you all know this one. It's from Doctrine and Covenants, section 58. Most people will know the first two verses, but you have to turn the page to see the third one. So most people have never heard it. I say this, by the way, I need to say the first 8 times the Lord used the word man, he defined it as male and female. And 8 times he figured we know that man means male and female. He said, men should be anxiously engaged in a good cause and bring to pass much righteousness of their own free will. For the power is in them, wherein they are agents unto themselves. And inasmuch as men do good, they shall in no wise lose their reward. That means you will get it. The agent, if they are agents, is are you going to choose to use the power God has given you or not? It's your choice. But he has promised you that if you have chosen to use that power that he has given you in a good cause, you will succeed. And just to make sure, this is the verse that comes after that no one knows. He then said, behold, he that doeth not anything until he is commanded, or receiveth the commandment with a doubtful heart, or keepeth it with slothfulness, the same is damned or stopped. And finally, in section 104, he declared, behold, it is my purpose to provide for my saints. Wherefore I, the Lord, stretched forth my hand and created this earth, my very handiwork, and all things therein are mine. It's full, and there is enough and to spare. The doctrine of scarcity is a false doctrine. The Lord has created an abundance, and he has given us the power to do good. And he has given us the ability through his gifts and talents to go out and change the world. President Hinckley said this, the Lord would want you to be successful. You are his sons and his daughters. And just as your earthly parents want you to succeed, so do your heavenly parents. Of these doctrines, I bear witness in the application of our careers. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in thanking not only do we have a way for him to get out of the parking garage, but we have a gift from the department, so thank you so much.
Just have fun in your career. It's a great job.
If you linger for a minute, the pizza might be here. We lost our class president.
We went to get it.
So it's here?
Yeah. Online. So there.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Let's take a quick bathroom break while we wait for pizza to arrive. Should be here soon. So we'll see you at 5.
I'm in trouble. Let's start that. Well, no, that's the plan of the park. That's the plan. I like to pull my wife on the street. You learn all this stuff.
Focusing on.
Hold on.
I said that last
What
week.
do you want? I don't care. What do you want to eat? Food. You know, I hate Indian food. That's about the only thing I don't eat.
You know, always made
I like them. Dirty.
I just did that whole thing. Oh my God. Oh, what's up with funny?
What I'm gonna do, like this.
I can imagine.
These, and then I'll just show the title slash.
I don't even know if it really is